There are plenty of reasons why Auburn fans should be optimistic that Alex Golesh is the guy to turn things around on the Plains.
You are now listening to the War Report Podcast Network.
Yes, indeed. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Uptempo Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Dustin Smith. Took a nice little Christmas break, but we're back with my guy, Nick Frazier, like we are every single Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Hope everybody had a good Christmas out there. Nick, How was yours, my guy?
Man, I had a great time. I didn't do anything. That's the best Christmas. You know, when you don't have to do, when you sit down and don't do anything, that's the best thing. That's the best thing.
Yeah. I hear you. I envy you a little bit. Coming from a family that's divorced, so you have to go do, two family Christmas, and then girlfriend as well. So we had 4 Christmases.
Oh yeah.
4 Christmases all in the span of one day, and you just, how many grandparents can one person have? And all this kind of more gifts to get, more gifts to give. So all good, man. Good time. Miss talking to you guys. I ain't gonna lie to you, Nick. I needed to break a little bit. I think I haven't made any bones about it. I get a little bogged down with all the portal talk, so I needed just a little bit of time to kind of catch my breath. I think that Pop-Tart Bowl yesterday rejuvenated my love for the sport a little bit. Seeing some good football on all day. Shout out to the Pop-Tart Bowl.
Shout out to the Pop-Tart Bowl, man. Pop-Tart Bowl is actually pretty good, man. Like I like the Pop-Tart Bowl. Like, it's entertaining.
Yeah, marketing and what they did with the Xbox Bowl a couple weeks ago. 2 teams that no one cared about, Arkansas State and somebody else, but they did a really good job of marketing and stuff. So a path forward for some of these bowl games to continue being relevant. Definitely there at the Pop-Tart Bowl. So I think they did a good job. And Notre Dame, you didn't want to play in that game, you weirdos. You didn't want to play. You didn't want to play no more football. Whatever. Look, guys, the episode. I can't really vibe with it. You could have went in there and played a good game, and BYU got, in their opinion, they got screwed out of the playoffs. They decided to show up and still go out and participate in the football game, and ultimately get the 12 wins and win it. So, shout out to the Cougars. Back to 2004, Auburn could have pouted, and we're not going to the Sugar Bowl. That's not the route they chose. And I would caution Notre Dame when you start putting in that loser mindset that I believe they instituted into their program a little bit. You better watch out. I think Marcus Freeman's a good coach. I'm not predicting bad things to come from it, but man, I saw Florida State kind of pitch a fit a couple years ago, and they haven't recovered since. So show them play some football. Show up, play some football is what I'm getting at today. But we don't have a Notre Dame crowd. We don't have a big BYU crowd here, and I'm sure Devin's watching. But listen, we got to talk about Alex Golesh. And honestly, Nick, I wanted to do this. I wanted to do this episode pretty quickly after he was hired.
Okay.
But so much happened so fast. So yeah, signing day that Wednesday, and bang, bang, bang. Right, there was just so much newsworthy stuff that had to be attacked. So what I want to do today. And there's going to be somebody in the comments that says nothing's guaranteed. Quit acting like Alex Golesh is going to win national championships at Auburn. So to start this conversation off, I want to say this. These are not predictions.
Not at all.
These are not predictions whatsoever. I have no idea if Alex Golesh is going to win games at Auburn and be the guy to turn Auburn around. I really don't know. But what we are going to do today is this is going to be an optimistic episode. So we're going to look at, if it does work out, what are some reasons as to why Auburn fans should be optimistic. And I promise you, as we go on throughout the summer and throughout the offseason, I'll talk about what maybe some of the downfalls are. We'll do some deep dives, and we'll look into the other side of things as well. But today, what do they call it? A bug. They call it the bug. Going to be a little bit of bug today, man. Maybe it's not even that. Maybe all these things are just reality and they pan out. I think that's what we can all really hope for. But I really wanted to. I took the last couple of days to just kind of sit down, examine some things about Alex Golesh, collect all my thoughts on him and his where he's been previously, what his mindset is, and how it could all kind of project forward. Scheme, culture. There's all these kind of different discussions. If Alex Golesh hits, if it works at Auburn, and I've kind of got it broken down, Nick, into 4 points. So I want to go through these 4 points and kind of get your thoughts on them. Before we get started real quick, I will get to you guys in the comments. Got a lot of good comments coming in this. My guy Jeff is watching from Wyoming. Let's go. Tapping in from Wyoming, my guy. So you're up nice and early over there this morning. Got your coffee in. Says, War Damn Eagle from Wyoming. This is the best AU podcast. Hope you enjoyed your break, but glad to see you back. Thank you, buddy. I did. And I'm having trouble signing. Okay, cool. Message me on X, brother. Message me on X, @GMcShot28, and I'll get you wrapped up. You're probably trying to do it on the phone. And you might have to do it on desktop, on your laptop or something. That seems to kind of be an issue that some people run into. So hit me up on X, brother, and we'll get you signed up. Maybe somebody will gift you membership today, and it'll all work out in the end anyway. Lindsay is in here. Says, good morning, Dustin and Nick. Good morning.
Good morning.
Lindsay, the Auburn thaw with a Christmas present, my guy.
Auburn thaw, man. Shut up.
I mean, what a way to start off the episode. And Auburn thaw, I was just listening to you. I was just before we came on here, I was watching Nick's episode over I think it was Friday, where they had a nice little discussion about culture and everything. You are a smart man, Auburn Thor. You are a smart man. Don't ever sell yourself short. I heard what you said. Appreciate the super chat, man. Appreciate all your support over this 2025. You honestly, bro, you really helped the podcast out a ton.
Shout out to Auburn Thor.
Thank you so much, man. That means the world to me, brother, for real. So Merry Christmas to you, Merry Christmas to your family, and thank you for the continued support, buddy. Just thank you, bud. Thank you. Susan with the War Damn Eagle. Teresa always in here supporting. Yeah, the usual faces. Always supporting, never missing a show. Teresa says, War Eagle, good morning. Dustin and Nick, good morning. Got the little War football Eagle emojis. Oh, we're ready for football already, and we're so far away from Auburn football anyway. There's some teams that are still playing. Good morning, fellas. I'm excited about January 2nd. It should tell us a lot. It's going to tell us. Yeah. It's going to be good. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I tell you what. I saw some names from all these other SEC schools starting to hit the portal, and this is a conversation that we can have later on in the week. It's not the topic for the day, but I just think it's the way the sport is going, and we'll kind of have to bleed into a little bit of that today. But let's go ahead and get started, man. And if you're just now coming in here, let us know in the chat where you're watching from. Hit us with that War Damn Eagle. Smash that like button, sub to the channel. Head over there to Water Cooler Talk Podcast. Subscribe to those guys as well. Watch that Friday episode. Really good stuff. All right, so I got 4 points. Okay. Four reasons why I've kind of broke this down into why I think that this could work out for Auburn. If it does work out, here are all the reasons why. Let's start with this word right here, Nick, mindset. Okay. I'm going to start with mindset. I struggled whether to go up with mindset or background. I finished on mindset because you can have a certain kind of background, and then as life treats you a certain kind of way, you can change your mindset a little bit. I think that the background of one Alex Golesh, his mindset, it kind of all like when you know the background, when you know the story, and then you see the Tom Herman and the FAU USA, I say, oh, it all kind of clicks. So I'm not breaking any news here. Everyone's heard the story a lot, but like I actually am just kind of like a history nerd. I've always just loved history. If you don't know much about it, go check out what was going on in the Soviet Union when the time that Alex Golesh and his family had to get up out of there. It was tough. It was tough. And those are like these real life experiences that can really mold somebody and can really just kind of like, if you've been through certain things at a young age, it really gives you a nice perspective on things as you move forward. Like if you're able to apply those things, and if you're able, like I say this all the time, I say, if you're not getting smarter every day that you live, what are you doing? Like every day is a new opportunity to acquire wisdom and get smarter, right? So I think that when I look at what this no nonsense kind of mindset that every stop it appears like Alex Golesh has been at, that he has, look, you can be a player's coach. And I think some of this, Nick, probably kind of just lends into my personality and what I like more. But like, you can be a player's coach, and you can be the guidance counselor kind of guy and all of that. And you can win football games that way. But one, I don't know how sustainable it is in today's model, because I think there's a lot of different things that happen to where you can be taken advantage of, and you can just get ran over by parents or street agents, uncle agents, I like to call them, that kind of. There's just so much that goes into all that. I just think that you're looking at a guy, man, that like, you know how we kind of got as media people at the end of the Hugh Freeze era, where it was like, I don't care anymore about the bad call in the second quarter.
Yeah,
I don't care. I don't care anymore about, well, this is the reason why. Who gives a shit? Did you win the game? Yes or no? No, you didn't. Okay, cool. Then something that's got to change. That's kind of the point to where we got in year 3 under the previous regime. I think that's the mindset that Golesh wakes up with every single day. And I know that you shared out his post on Instagram because he doesn't post a lot.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't post a lot. So when he posted what he posted, do you know the quote off the top of your head? I kind of know what the message was, but I don't exactly have it. But he just basically said, yeah, we're not doing things the same way just because we previously did them this way. And obviously it wasn't working. I think he's a guy, Nick, that doesn't want to hear the details of the nonsense. He just sees the nonsense and says, we got to clean that out. That's got to go. That ain't going to win. When I say mindset, I'm talking about a no BS mindset.
The quote is, the most dangerous phrase in our language is, we've always done it this way. That's the quote.
So you see all these guys announcing their intent to hit the portal. A guy in Golesh that never posts. The time that he posted that at, he's probably trying to send a message to us out here in Auburn Fanville. Just saying, listen, guys, I have a lot of people in my ear right now saying, Coach, this is what we do. and then he's going, what, lose?
Exactly.
Yeah. Mindset change. And look, some of this stuff I'm about to say is not an attack on the previous, but this is just reality. I think that there was a real intention to foster and create good men by the previous staff. And I don't think that's it's Sunday morning, okay? I don't think this is a bad thing.
That's a conversation that needs to be had. That's a conversation that really needs to be had.
Yes. I don't think it was a bad thing, okay? There were times, like when I'm in church, I have my favorite church songs, right? The ones that make me feel closest to what I'm trying to accomplish. Nick, you played football. Did you ever want to hear those worship songs during the middle of the Oklahoma drill? Because I did it. Because I did it. That wasn't the time. Look, there has to be a dog mentality. And I always go back to whenever Hugh Freeze was asked his first year about, do you understand? It was the week of the Georgia game. And he was asked, do you understand the rivalry and how much hatred is really here? Everyone talks about the Iron Bowl, but there's a real hate. The Iron Bowl, there's hate too there for sure. But Harvey Updike kind of threw flames on all that. But just Auburn and Georgia, man, there's this it's just this natural I don't like you for real.
For real.
He was asked about that, and he said, well, we're not trying to create a program here full of young men that have hate in their heart. And I'm like, brother, no one's asking you to take up arms and do what General Sherman or whatever his name was did back in the day of the Civil War and burn Atlanta to the ground. That's not what we're asking you to do, brother. We're just asking you to go in there and win a football game versus our rival. What are you talking about? So I think that there's a lot of different things. And then also we're now learning about the overpaying that was going on in the NIL space. So I say all this, Nick, I know I said a lot right there. But I think all of this just kind of led to this mindset of maybe complacency and maybe just, this is like Coach Golesh, this is how we do it.
Yep.
And I just think that this is a no nonsense kind of because we had a guy before the last guy who acted who said all these things, but didn't act them out. Like Harsin said all of this tough guy stuff, but he didn't actually do it. There is evidence of Alex Golesh. He got his doors blown off his first year at South Florida to an in-state team at FAU. FAU ran the score up. They kicked an onside kick and continued throwing it up 30 plus in the fourth quarter. Coach Golesh's face didn't switch up. He didn't switch up. And if you know these Russians, so if you're a hockey fan, you know these Russians, they don't ever really get emotional. Deadpan, he just looked in the camera and said, I'll remember that.
Yep.
I'll remember that. And he did. He did. And next year, he returned the favor.
He did.
He returned the favor to Tom Herman.
44.
Now, I'm going to flip this back. You got to be an Auburn fan for a little bit of a time to remember this. The last Iron Bowl win of Tuberville would have been 07 at home.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Auburn's up 17-7 inside the red zone. I think inside the 10, maybe the 5.
Yeah, it was.
I'm screaming, punch it in. Who cares? Punch it in. 24-7 is better than 17-7. Punch it in. That's Alabama. Who gives a damn?
Mm-hmm.
And I love Tubbs, but he needed out. Okay. He needed out. We still won by 10, blah, 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 whatever. The next year, Bama's up 28 plus.
Yeah.
They put in backup, running like a trick play or something. I don't remember the play exactly, but I remember them throwing it deep up 28, scoring to go up by 30-something, and their whole players running by our sideline letting us know the streak is over.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, boy. And it ain't been the right since. I think Golesh is the guy that says, you know what? We're punching it in.
Yes, we are.
So, and just that's my first point, Nick, mindset. I think this is a no-nonsense kind of guy that's not going to take it. And like me and you, I've told you a million times, you know, for sure. I think it's exactly what Auburn needs right now.
Yes, it is. No, I agree with you wholeheartedly. This kind of, you know, correlates to the conversation we had Friday night when we were talking about culture versus scheme. You know, when you're just trying to figure out, you know, what is culture and what we fit and I think the conclusion we came to at the end of that show is there are a lot of different, you know, definitions of what people think culture is. But I think when you get down to it, I think it comes down to what the mindset of the team is. You know, I think it comes down to how the team views just if you are in a situation, how are you going to make this work? How is this going to become a net positive for you? You know, and not to the point to where we're sitting here after the game talking about, man, it's another close loss, you know, or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, I agree with you, man. And when you just look at Golesh, man, Golesh just he to me, he seems like one of those guys that remembers things, like he remembers details. You know, like if something like okay, I remember that. I'm gonna hold on. Like I'm gonna give you a great example. I'm pretty sure everybody on here has seen the Last Dance documentary with the Chicago Bulls. Yeah. And there was a story about the a story that Michael Jordan Michael Jordan played the Cleveland Cavaliers. Was it LeBaron? I think not Filan. LeBaron. I think it's LeBaron. I can't remember his last name. And the night before, they played a back-to-back game. And the first night, Cleveland won the game. And apparently, this dude walked up to Michael Jordan and said, "Nice game, Mike." Yeah. And that was all that Michael Jordan needed to just click on and just remember, like, oh, that's not gonna happen again. Come to find out, that didn't happen. That never happened. He made it up. He made it up. He had to find something. Like Michael Jordan made that up because he had to find something that would basically make him be like, yeah, man, I got to get motivated and I got to and I got to make and we got to win this game. That's how I think. That's how I think Coach Golesh is. Like he's gonna find the smallest thing, and he's gonna make sure that everybody knows it and they feel it too. Not just know it, but feel it. So that when you know when we meet them again, you know exactly how that felt and how you don't want to feel like that again. So I'm excited about it because, like I said, I think it's been a long time. It's been a long time since Auburn has had something like that in the coaching ranks, in my opinion. So, if that is a precursor to anything that is to come, man, Auburn has a very, very solid foundation moving forward with Alex Golesh at the helm.
Look, I know that players in this day and age, they move teams a lot, and I mean, coaches do too. But we have students at Auburn who are graduating without ever seeing Auburn beat Alabama or beat Georgia.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's the mindset has got to change.
Yep.
And like any organization, it starts at the top. And I believe it was Tez on y'all show Friday that made the point of, is Kalen DeBoer doing his own thing at Alabama 100%? And does he deserve credit for it 100%?
Yep.
But there were still certain things from that culture, from that mindset that Nick Saban ingrained in that program that are like still sit there today, that are still foundations and pillars of that program today that weren't there with Mike Shula and those guys previously. So, and Auburn's at that point, man. And again, like Tony Dungy is a Hall of Fame head coach. He won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So like that kind of style, it can work. I'm not saying that it can't. Right now, in my opinion, what Auburn needs is what Coach Golesh brings, because Auburn was a guy. Auburn's like a boxer that was a little bit past his prime that's still kind of fighting. And now
Van Holyfield.
Yeah, and my guy Roy Jones, who lives right down the street from me, but one of the greatest ever. I love you, Roy, like literally a hometown hero here. But just kind of went a little bit too long to where, hey man, when you were winning titles and you were beating people and stuff, now when they start beating you, they're taking extra shots. Yeah. Right. And people have been taking extra shots at Auburn. It's not just that Auburn's losing, it's also we're the joke. Yeah, and the previous head coach at Ole Miss like to talk about Auburn a lot, but he's not the only one. And then national media, Auburn's kind of the punchline right now. And who stops that?
Auburn's got to stop it, and it's got to be the guy in charge to come in day one and say, no longer, no more of this. I'm saying one thing. I think the mindset has to be what the person believes too. I don't think you can fake that. I don't think that's something you can just fake.
Facts.
Like I clearly believe that's Nick Saban. Like if you watch people, you watch TV, you watch the Verbo commercial when the people come to his Airbnb, he's like, no showers, you really have to like live that. That's a lifestyle. That's not a mind. Like I have an uncle that, shout out to my uncle, man. Well, and grew up military guy, retired captain in the Air Force. And he had a ritual, like every day he would get, like, I thought it was crazy, but he would get up, he would run 4 miles at 4:30 in the morning and then go play 18 holes of golf right after that. Not ride, but walk 18 holes of golf. And then come back home and then just do stuff throughout the day, because he had a ritual, he had a pattern of how he did things. And when I went to stay with him for the summer, man, he had me doing the same thing, and I did not like it. But then the older I got, I grew to understand it, and I was like, when we talk about this mindset type thing, like I don't think that's something that people can just get up and just do. You got to actually commit to it. You got to actually commit to being consistent. You got to commit to just being like, man, I can't get around this. Like, there's no way I can do it. And that's what I think Coach. That's the vibe that I get from Coach Golesh, is that he really lives this. You know what I'm saying? This is how I am. And so if that's something that he lives, it's gonna bleed into the program, and people are just gonna have to fall in line. And the people that don't are just gonna fall by the wayside anyway.
Yeah, great points there. And there was a certain aspect of when Hugh kept coming up there every week and saying we're close, to where it's like, sure, we are. We can keep losing, but by one possession. But at some point, it was like, that's not the message. You need to, like, brother, you need to say a bad word. Or you at least need to come up here and slam your fist, and you need to do something. It can't just keep being. And I don't think that's going to be Coach Golesh. I don't. I think that a close loss, he's going to come up there and say, no, this can't be the standard. So that's the first point, mindset. I think that he has a completely different mindset. I think you talk about that dog mentality. I think everyone is looking forward in players. Everyone's looking forward in coaches. But it's like There's that legendary practice. We're using a lot of basketball examples today. Back in the day when the Lakers were on this massive losing streak and Kobe was kind of hurt, but he was still playing the games.
Yeah.
And they had lost 19 to 20. And he walked out there and he told them all before practice, he said, practice going to get real MF and uncomfortable today.
He told him to take his shoes off. That was so
he went to the locker room and told everybody to take the Kobe's off. Y'all don't deserve to wear them. Like, he went to the whole thing, bro. Went up to the GM and said, I ain't getting better with these MF. Like,
that's exactly what he told him, man.
The whole thing, bro. There's
soft.
They saw like there's a certain mindset, man. There's a certain mindset, and I think that Alex Golesh, you can talk about it, you can say you want to be that, you know. And I think, like, I use that example because I think there were some guys, the Jeremy Lins and that kind of thing on that team that thought they were something. And then Kobe had to come tell them you weren't that guy and show the organization that they're not here. These guys aren't here. So, yeah, you can talk about it. I think Alex Golesh is about it. And
I agree.
That's the first point. Let's get in here to some of these comments before we get to point number 2. Jordan says, I like the NIL being paid on the front end. Earned money hits different. That will change. Not being paid on the front end. Earned money hits different. That will change some mindsets. Yeah, I'm definitely going to do some more stuff on kind of what's going on, the reset of how Auburn's doing NIL later on in the week. But, you know, I agree with this, Jordan. I do, without getting too deep into it, because at some point, and this is a problem that I wonder how far it goes on outside of Auburn. But, like, you know, if I'm paying you like a couple $1 million out of high school, let's use another fighting example. Conor McGregor fought Floyd Mayweather. You never saw the same Conor McGregor again. Why? Because he made $100 million in 30 minutes. He didn't have to do it anymore. Khabib, once Khabib beat Conor and he was world famous, that was pretty much it. You didn't see much more Khabib. You know why? Because he was a millionaire now, like hundreds of millions of dollars. He didn't have to get kneed in the side of the head anymore. He didn't have to do all that anymore. If you're coming out of high school and you're given, and I'm not saying these kids don't work hard, but like you give a high school kid $300,000-$400,000 just because he's a top 200 player before he's ever really earned anything. Does that breed a level of complacency? Does that take away from that grind and him wanting to get better? I think for every individual is different. I think the true dogs will rise to the top, right?
Oh yeah, easily.
But still, I agree with you, Jordan. I definitely think, and just from a business perspective, like to me right now, I feel like the college football is in this state that the NFL was with the Jamarcus Russell contract.
Oh, that's a good one.
Where it's
that's
like
a good one.
Where it's
that's a good analogy.
There needs to be a cap on how much you can get paid before you ever prove anything. And the Raiders, they got held hostage by Jamarcus Russell's agent and everything before he had ever done anything. And they ultimately way overpaid him. And then he didn't show up and he didn't try and blah, blah, blah. And the NFL owners got together and said, this is because they knew it was just going to keep going up, right? Because the market always goes, it always resets and then somebody else pays more money and it goes up and up and up.
Same thing happened with Sam Bradford too, didn't it? Like Sam Bradford get paid a lot because the year before that, Cam got drafted the year after that, and that's when they got the rookie pay scale.
Right. And then Cam was the first one. Cam was the first one to get a reasonable contract as a rookie. I think college football is there for sure, man. There's going to have to be somewhere where where it's like, listen, what just happened at Michigan? Like, if there's an aspect of, if you want to do this to yourself, sure, do it to yourself. But it just in long-term health of the sport, I do think it's silly and dumb. And then the fact that you're going to have, like, all right, I can tell you all this for 100% certain fact. Think about how crazy this is. Okay. Because to me, this is nuts. And this is off topic a little bit. We'll get back on here in a second. But, like, just think about this. I know for fact that last week, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Carolina Panthers played a game that with 3 games left in the NFL season determined first place in the division. Okay, so this game had massive playoff implications in the National Football League. I know for 100% fact that there were multiple offensive starting linemen that day for the Buccaneers, because they were practice squad guys that had to get bumped up, that didn't make as much money as Xavier Chaplin made. to play games at Auburn. Think about how crazy that is, okay? Think about how crazy that is. Is that healthy for the sport long term? Different discussion for a different day. Carlton says, War Dang Eagle, what is up?
What up, Miss Howard?
Teresa says, how are they getting around the pay for play? Again, we'll definitely have
sharing.
Yeah. This could be a 4-hour thing when we go down that path. Tim, what's up, baby? He says, I said a year ago we would be back to get it, and we came back to get it. This is what Alex Golesh said after the Florida Atlantic game, where Tom Herman rubbed his nose in it and all that kind of stuff. And Tom Herman probably thought, I'm sending a message. We're up here at Fort Lauderdale, or was down there compared to where they are in Tampa. But here we are in Fort Lauderdale, and we're going to let y'all know that we're the G5 team in Florida and blah, blah, blah. And AG said, all right.
And got beat 44-21.
He came back the next year and let them know. And then I love how he didn't even address it in the post game. He was like, y'all saw what it was. I told y'all. Y'all know what it was. Like, I got nothing left to say. Schoolboy speaks for us. I love that, man. I was listening to your culture versus scheme convo. Talking about Nick's show Friday. Culture over scheme any day. You can have all the scheme in the world, but if the culture isn't right, the scheme won't work. Winners win. Nick, your thoughts? Y'all talked about this a lot.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and it's like I did a video on that earlier that morning that came out that morning, and that live show was just an extended conversation on that video. And that's my feeling on that. Culture is kind of like, and if I want to break it down even more, let's put it in the word of Apple. Culture is the operating system. It's the iOS system. Scheme is just the iPhone that gonna come out every year. It's the new iPhone 17 or the new 16 or whatever the 18 gonna be when it comes out. That's basically what it is. The core thing of the program is what makes it work, and I don't know where that analogy came from. That just came out of nowhere. Shout out to that. But I think that was great. But yeah, I mean, it's really just the core of the mindset, and it's just the CPU of everything. Like how does this program acquiesce and what are we? What are we? Is what the code is, and to me is also a question that you can ask. What are we? What do we want to do? But then scheme is how do we get there? How do we make it happen? It's and having that conversation, man. It just, and shout out to DC. DC said he was like, yeah, man, we've kind of come up with a lot of different definitions for culture. Like everybody sees it a different way.
Right.
Because I was under the impression that majority of people saw it that way. But having that conversation, man, I can see that a lot of people see it a lot of different ways. But man, yeah, but I think when it comes down to it, when you say the word mindset, I think if you want to use a synonym for culture, it's just mindset. It's just how it is and how it's going to be. That's how I feel.
Yeah, for sure. And I think something else that your boy Tez said was it builds itself.
Yeah, it does. Yes.
It builds itself. If you come out and you start winning games, okay, well then eventually we can believe in ourselves.
Yep.
You lose one possession games for 3 straight years. You kind of already built it. And that's what you built.
Yep.
Whether that was your intention or not. Ant says Hugh did it. Yeah, for sure. And again, we're definitely going to the information about what's going on with Auburn exactly in the NIL space. We're kind of learning more and more about that. So definitely ain't going to do some conversation or some episodes.
The greatest insider of them all, at the insider. Shout out to my guy.
But yeah, they weren't pulling no punches. And I mean, listen, you kind of knew that Auburn was overpaying when you looked at the top 10 and of recruiting rankings, and Auburn's the only one in there with a losing record.
Yeah,
it was like, all right, I know that we're kind of overpaying here a little bit.
Yep.
I think we're starting to kind of find out now just how bad it was, and it wasn't going to be a model that Auburn could sustain for much longer.
Yep.
My guy Huggy is in here. He says Chapman making more than anybody in the NFL is wild. Yeah, and I mean, I'm just using that as an example, right? Because the point that I'm making is that like practice squad guys, look up what a practice squad guy. I mean, it's not a bad living. I mean, it's not a bad living at all, but it's just nuts to me to think about because practice squad guys get elevated, especially late in the season.
Yep.
And to now think about those guys getting elevated, playing a game, and this was, I just use that example. This happened all over the NFL, and it'll happen today. There's going to be tons of guys playing in meaningful NFL games today that are making practice squad salaries that have been elevated due to injuries that do not make as much money for that game as college players are making off of their NIL deal. Yeah. I think that's I think that's a beyond ridiculous system for the
well, okay. I know we got to move on, but I'm going to ask this real quick question. Is it beyond ridiculous though? I mean, because if the college football game is generating, okay, let's say as a whole, the college football generates, I don't know, let's be conservative here. In an average season, $2 billion. Is it ridiculous?
Yes and no.
Okay.
We can have this conversation. I mean, yes and no. You make a great point. At the end of the day, and like the counterpoint to what I'm about to say is, well, AAA baseball doesn't make as much as Major League Baseball. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, I think for the health of the sport, I don't think AAA players should make more than Major League Baseball.
I get what you're saying. That makes sense.
But also understanding, because we have a AA team here in my city, I know that it doesn't pull in what the Major League team does for that franchise.
That makes sense. I get what you're saying. But there are some college teams. I'm pretty sure Auburn pulls in way more.
Yeah.
Than what the Bay Bears were when they was in Mobile.
Right. Yeah.
Sure. I'm pretty sure Auburn, Alabama was pulling way more than what they were doing.
Yeah.
I think that the trash pen is now in Huntsville, if I'm not mistaken. That's wild.
Yeah, they definitely.
You got the Montgomery biscuits in Montgomery. Shout out to Montgomery biscuits.
Yeah, they moved. They moved out of Mobile. Mobile messed up.
They did.
Messed up. My guy Blake always talked about this. He lived in Mobile his whole life, where he talked about how Pensacola built the baseball park on the water.
Yes,
Mobile has a bay.
They did it,
and they built it out in the woods.
You got built it next to the interstate. It's next to the interstate. Come on, man.
You pass it, and you're like, why is a baseball field there? Let's go. We got a new member. Let's go. Nita Martin becoming a new member. We will definitely talk about these memberships here at the end of this second segment. Got to get to this, though. My second point here, Nick. Recruiting, and some of this we've kind of already talked about. Recruiting and SEC experience in the NIL era. So where I'm going to start with this is a lot of questions that people have had about the portal announcements and the announcements of intent to hit the portal. People are starting to say, oh my gosh, is this guy going to be able to recruit? Is he going to be able to recruit? Well, he was a recruiting coordinator at Toledo, at Illinois, and Iowa State.
Yep.
So this is not something that he's foreign to. He knows the recruiting game. He's been in it. He's been in charge of recruiting at G5.
Yep.
And Power 4 programs.
Yep.
It's something that he kind of cut his teeth in. He was if you look at his coaching progression, a lot of it was recruiting coordinator.
Yep.
And tight end coach.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, we're gonna get into some of this tight end production jump when he shows up here shortly, because it goes up. But so the point I'm making here is this is a guy who he has experience. He understands the importance of recruiting. He's been in charge at multiple programs on multiple levels of the recruiting. He was the recruiting coordinator. So he understands it. But also, let's look at kind of when he started cutting his teeth in this. He became the recruiting coordinator, if I have my notes right here, at Iowa State in 2016. If I'm off on that, I'm off by like a year or two, right there kind of in that. So, he's kind of been in both, like pre-NIL and then now in the NIL era. Why I put the and here is because when he went to Tennessee, that was in the NIL era. 2021, 2022. So when we talk about all of the things that go into recruiting and roster management and roster building nowadays, I think that a lot of what happened with the last hire was we were going off of his SEC experience in a time that the sport was fundamentally different.
Yes.
Was Auburn's previous coach, did he have a level of success at Ole Miss that Ole Miss hadn't really seen? Now, Lane Kiffin came and changed some of that. But like, if you just look at what Hugh Freeze did at Ole Miss, not a lot of people have done that at Ole Miss. And that was kind of the selling point to Auburn fans. What we came to understand, and there's a lot of different things we came to learn and find out, but part of this was that success in 2013, 14, 15, all that kind of stuff at Ole Miss, this is a different sport.
Yep.
This is a different sport. So will Hugh Freeze always be a good recruiter? Yes. I believe that Hugh Freeze would have the ability to come take this coffee right now that I have, fill the rest of it up with water, and then sell it back to me as a brand new coffee. I just think the guy's that good at it. I mean, like I'm gonna give him his credit at where it's due. But that doesn't mean that just because he was good at getting those guys in the door, that he understood how to build the roster out, how to allocate the salary cap that is now in place. Like I would make the argument, if you look at some of these numbers we're hearing from wide receiver and DB, Auburn had a massive portion of its allotted funds disproportionately go into certain rooms.
Yeah.
Look, I love stacked receiver rooms. I want them all. How much of a percentage is that? Because you can only throw one, only one can catch the football on one particular play.
Very true.
How much of that money should have gone to that room? So, like, was Hugh Freeze a good recruiter? Was he good at getting them in the door and winning over their parents and having them believe in everything? For sure. But the point I'm here to make for Alex Golesh is this is a guy who his success is relevant to today's new era of college football, of the new sport, because it's fundamentally different. We all can acknowledge that. He's done it in this current structure, in this current format. And then there's always that group of people that would say, like, they're dealing with this at Florida right now. Well, does he know? He hasn't done it in the SEC. Just, what happened? No, listen, bro. He was at Tennessee recently.
Yeah.
Recently. And we'll get into this another part of this in a second too, when I get into like culture part and rebuild. But he saw a lot of what Auburn has faced, what Auburn is facing right now. Tennessee was facing. That was Tennessee. Now, main credit goes to Josh Heupel. Okay, main credit goes to head man. But look who he brought. Look who he brought with him from UCF to help him turn that thing around.
Yep.
And look at the job that Alex Golesh did in recruiting at Tennessee in his brief time there. So I think that it's success that's relevant to the current sport. And I think that when you look at the Hugh Freezes and you look at the Jimbo Fishers and those kind of guys, you look at Dabo Swinney yesterday in that Pinstripe Bowl, brother, like is your model successful in this? And I think that Alex Golesh's success and his experience is relevant to the current state of college football and this conference, because he just did it in this conference, albeit as an OC, but it's not something that he doesn't know, Nick. It's not something that he hasn't been in. He was in it at Rocky Top, the most rabid, the highest level that it could be. So nothing's going to catch him off guard, bro, and he's ready for it.
Yeah, you said a mouthful there.
For sure.
That I
haven't had a
wholeheartedly that I wholeheartedly agree with. I mean, everybody talks about, it's another G5 coach coming from the G5 ranks to come be the head coach. And I'm not going to lie, I was one of those people at the beginning of this process where I was like, go get a proven P4 guy that has been where Auburn's trying to go. I was one of those people. But when I started to realize that probably wasn't going to happen, you have to start looking at, other options and what potentially could happen. And when you just look at Alex Golesh, everywhere he's been, he's had to build something. He's had to build something. Whether it was when he was at Ohio State, whether it was when he was at a high school that he was coaching at, and they had to build a whole football program from there. Everywhere he's been, he's had to build something. And then when he was forced to do it, he turned it around for the positive. Like, I want people to realize, like, before he became the head coach at USF had only won 4 games in 3 seasons. 4 games in 3 seasons. In the past 3 years, they've won 24 games. is what they've done. That's what he's done in 3 years. He went 7-6, and then went 9-3 this past year. That's what he's done as the head coach, as the head coach at USL. It's not like he doesn't know how to recruit, because he knows how to recruit. There are a lot of guys that were like, man, I would go, I'll come play for you, but you at USF. I'm trying to play in a bigger, a bigger brand, in the Power 4. I don't think it's going to be a problem. And the fact that Auburn recruits itself as well is not bad. It's not bad as well. You just add that on top of it. I think he's going to do well. Where I am more inclined to think that this is going to work out for the good for the long term is the way that they're setting up how they want to structure paying people when it comes to NIL. That's where I look at it and I'd be like, that's next level. Because when you look at what we just came from, when you look at that, you were literally just going out and just paying guys and just saying, we just got to get talent here. As you stated, in the wide receiver room, you had a bunch of guys in the wide receiver room. You had a lot of guys in the DB room. You didn't really have much you didn't really have much for like the first 2 seasons on the defensive line or even on the offensive line for real. Right. You know what I'm saying? And in this conference and in this type of football, games are won on the line of scrimmage. That's where games are won. You look at JMU, you look at Oregon. When you look at the line of scrimmage play, Oregon dominated them. Now, when you look at the skill position, you can sit there and be like, all right, okay. I see JMU skill positions. They got some ballers out there. But when your offensive line can't hold up and Alonzo Barrett got pressure in his face, they can't shine. In this particular level of football, the line of scrimmage is important. It's always going to be important. Always. And when you don't allocate funds there properly to bring guys in, it's going to be a problem. Just look at teams and look at how majority of teams that are successful look at their rosters. Just look at them. Do a lot of them have really great wide receiver play? Not really. You made some of them have like a star receiver and some contributors. But when you look at it, offensive line, defensive line, they got somebody that's protecting the quarterback and they got somebody that's rushing the quarterback. I say this all the time. When you are building a team, NFL teams, when they do this, they always go pay a quarterback, then they pay the person that's going to protect the quarterback, then they pay the person that's going to go rush the quarterback.
Yeah.
Those are your first 3 people you pay if you ever building a team. This is just a little inside knowledge of you if you ever want to be an NFL GM. That's what you do. You pay them 3 people first because even they know that's where games are won. That's where they know that. But, that part right there is what has me very, very excited about moving forward. The reallocation of funds. It's not like funds. It's not like there's a cut of funds. Yeah. It's just reallocating them to the areas that's going to actually help us win games down the line. And Joe Gordon said this when he was talking about what the offense is going to look like how running the ball is going to be a non-negotiable. He was basically saying in order for us to win games in late November, we have to run the ball. And in order to run the ball, what you got to have? You got to have a pretty dominant offensive line that's able to lean on people and push people around. So that right there, that mindset tells me that you about to see a lot of allocation and a lot of resources pushed to the line of scrimmage because that's where they know that this is where we're going to win games at. And I'm excited about it.
And then, Nick, when you do take a little bit of money and you put it to the side for those positions and you miss on a Percy Lewis and you miss on an Xavier Chaplin, it's devastating. It's devastating.
Exactly. Exactly.
So there was our resources that we spent on this position and we missed.
Exactly.
So, and I'm also kind of at the point to where if Xavier Chaplin went off and was successful somewhere else next year, I wouldn't be surprised. I just don't care how I know that I'm not supposed to, I don't. Jake Thornton was terrible. So it is what it is. If that makes people mad, close to him or close to the program,
I don't think nobody mad about that.
I'll tell you something after.
Okay.
But yeah, they need.
Never awful. I'll take that back.
Awful job. Awful job. So I wouldn't be surprised if Chaplin was to go on. And I'll always really kind of wonder how much I really have seen a lot of offensive linemen coming out and saying RPO is hard when you do it a lot, because I'm trying to figure out if we're running or pass blocking right here before the snap or right after the snap. So, but again, that's a big different conversation as well. But point number 2, recruiting and SEC experience in the NIL era, I think is vastly important. I don't think you're getting a guy whose best days are behind him, which is a trap that a lot of these schools fall into. And when they hire and they get into this retread process, I think you can look at Golesh and say this is a forward-thinking guy that's still fresh in the game and has been successful under this new format. Got a $20 super chat from my guy NH3425. What's up, my guy? He says Hugh overpaid on talent and got no production. Golesh and Warsaw aren't going to overpay, especially when your results didn't translate to your NIL money. You're either a tiger or a cub. An eagle or a pigeon.
Wow.
Okay. And Golesh is here. All right, we're cooking this morning, my guy. Cooking up some nice ones there. I like that a lot. Yeah, brother. I'm with you 100% on this. And again, you kind of had to overpay a little bit to get some of these guys in the door, but then like when the production never comes and never matches, and that's one of the things where it's like I see a lot of people talking in the chat about Malcolm Simmons. Is it Malcolm Simmons' fault that his production wasn't what we wanted it to be? Like, I look at the coaches more so, but at the end of the day, if you're Alex Golesh and you're coming in as a new guy, again, back to the first point, you missed me with all the little details of how we lost. We just lost. I just know that we lost. And we're here to do things different and clean things out to where it need be and reset some of this. And there's a part of this that I'm going to save for point number 4, but it kind of ties back into some of this. And let's see, we got a couple more started up here. I should probably eliminate some of these after I bring them up, so I don't have to recipher through them. Auburn Thal gifting 10 more membership. Let's go. Auburn Thal coming through this morning. Absolutely. Appreciate you, my guy, with a $50 super chat, gifting the memberships. We got people joining as members. Appreciate all of you guys. Got a $20 super chat from NH3425 showing up big on this post-Christmas, pre-New Year's Eve. It's like a weird week whenever they fall in the middle. Because you kind of get like a couple of days of work, and then you get another week off and all that. But thank all you guys, man, for sure. Big Trav says this portal class is going to go crazy. I think we will all be pleasantly surprised once it's open. I think a lot of people have seen the analogy. I put it out on social media because I did it in a members only podcast, but I've cut it up and put it out in the on my socials. And if you didn't hear it, the analogy that I used was, if you're freaking out right now about the players that have announced their intent to hit the portal, one, I saw a couple of guys yesterday for some other SEC schools that re-signed with their team.
Yeah.
That had originally announced an intent to hit the portal. Yeah. So you're going to see that with some of these guys. I think I'll look at the defensive side of the ball, particularly for some of that. And most of them I think will leave, but I do think you're going to see some of that with Auburn. Yeah. But also the example that I used was, if you're freaking out about the amount of guys that have said they're hitting the portal from Auburn, what you are right now is you're standing outside of Best Buy at 9:30 and they open up at 10. and you're screaming about the PlayStations and the Xboxes and the flat screens that you want. They're inside. They're in there. They're fully stocked. Okay. It's just not quite time. It's 9:30.
That's it.
It's 9:30.
That's it.
And we can't speed the watch up to get it to 10, but they will come out there at 10. They will open up the doors, and the PS5s and the Xboxes will all be for sale.
Exactly.
So right now, the store's just not open.
Is it?
That's it. That's it. All that can happen right now is people can say, I'm going to leave this school. They can't come out and say, I'm going to this school yet. Don't worry.
Exactly.
We'll be there. We'll be there soon.
I just want people to know that LSU lost their whole entire offensive line. Well, they've announced their intentions to enter the portal. Right. We don't know if they're going to leave yet. We don't know. We don't know what we don't know what LSU's NIL situation is because they got a lot of money tied up in a lot of places. So we'll see. But hey, but I'm just saying, like Edward said the best: the portal giveth, and the portal taketh, and the portal giveth is what he said. Shout out to Edward.
Yeah. So it's and a lot goes into it. Do you have to be able to, one, evaluate those guys from a football perspective, but two, the funds and allocating the funds and how do we spend that compared to the high school guys and blah, 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 blah. And then how does that affect the culture if this guy's getting paid more? There's a lot. There's a lot that goes into this. And look, one thing I will never say is, I don't feel bad for them because of the amount of money they make, but I do think that these coaches are earning the money. Like, this is a hard job.
Yeah, they got you.
I think they're earning these. I mean, this is a very hard job, and it takes up a lot of time if you're doing it right. Some schools are not paying you to be an expert golfer. Let's get some Hummer. Yeah, I need you in the office sometimes, brother. Hummer 999 says practice players making around $50K to $60K per season. Yeah, look, it's just wild to think of a guy playing in the NFL getting paid less than like a redshirt freshman on a college team, because that redshirt freshman just so happened to have a high school ranking coming out of Alberta, Alabama, for example. You know, it's just like just to me, I'm just like, man, that's just such a crazy. The sport is structured in a crazy manner, man. And I just think it's a little bit wild. Big Trey says, bro created NIL when he was at Ole Miss. Those kids got back.
They did. They got him.
Yeah.
And the cell phone to go with it.
I don't.
I should have said that. I take that back.
He would say, yeah. There was some other stuff that came along with it. There were some people. Hey, look, there's some guys in Dallas back in the 80s. I think they. I think they may have created NIL.
Yeah, they were ponying it up over there, man. Ponying it up.
Ponying it up for sure. But Hugh definitely, he played the game. And look, I'm not. I mean, part of it, you kind of had to. I see a lot of people saying like the suck tax, and then that's a thing for sure. But the winning never came to kind of sell. I think Hugh was hoping, okay, we overpay here at first, and then we win some games, and this will kind of balance itself out. The second part never came. And the Insider says, prime example, Malcolm talking about bridges burn, and in reality, you're mad because Golesh isn't going to pay you Hugh money for no reason. Yeah. And see, this is the thing. I think we talked about this whenever Malcolm announced his intent to hit the portal.
Yep.
And do you think that Alex Golesh turned on the film of Malcolm Simmons and said, that guy sucks and I don't want him on my football team?
Not at all.
That's not what happened. But you got to kind of look at it, and it's like, well, we want to keep Cam Coleman and we want to keep Eric Singleton. That's if you make that happen, that's a good amount of that money right there going into that wide receiver room. At what point do you start asking? You know what I mean? Like, these conversations have to be had. This isn't Major League Baseball, and Auburn isn't the New York Yankees. Yeah. Where you could just write a blank check.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then to be fair here, there's the Malcolm side of this, to where, well, they're offering me more money.
Yep.
So like, okay, like on a personal level, I'm not knocking you, dude. I'm not knocking you. You've only got so many opportunities to go and make something of yourself, and you've only got this window you have as a football player is short. Even if you play in the pros, you're going to be out by 30, 31, 32.
Yeah.
As a college player, man, it's a short window to maximize your opportunities. So, I want to be fair in that and not seem like I don't consider that aspect of it. But if you're Alex Golesh, Malcolm Simmons is going to be at your team for a maximum of 2 more years.
Yep.
He plans on being at Auburn for the long term and winning game for the long term. He's got to set it up for that.
Exactly.
Big Trav saying Auburn Thaw coming through with the gifted memberships. Everybody thanking him for the gifted memberships, and we thank him as well for showing you guys what we got going on here at the Up Tempo Podcast. So let's just talk about it really, really quick. And I actually recorded a little commercial so I didn't have to do this and I could go take a piss break when this happened, but I didn't upload it. So Go ahead, man. Level up today. Sign up for these memberships. $3.99 a month to get you to that JV squad. $5.99 a month to get you to that varsity squad. While we were on Christmas break, you know who did get up tempo content? The members. Got a nice little film breakdown on Bear McWhorter, the newest commitment of the 2026 class, or signee, however you would say that, with the whole situation that went on there at Michigan. So we did a nice little film breakdown, and I got some more stuff coming out for you guys. But then I got 2 episodes, 2 different things that I'm going to drop for you guys in the next couple of days. And SEC basketball season is heating up. Auburn has one more non-conference game, and for a large portion of our basketball content is going to be members only, because really that's the only people that watch it anyway. It was funny. We're going to get into like March, and I'm going to have people start to go, why aren't you talking about basketball? The answer will be simple, because you're not watching.
Exactly.
That'll be why. It's not because.
Hey, shout out to Auburn's women's basketball team, man.
How's it looking?
Looking good. Hey, shout out to Auburn's women's basketball team.
Let's go,
man.
Coach Vickers.
Yes. They got a chance to, I'm not sitting here saying they gonna make a run in the tournament, but hey, they've been balling. I think they had a couple of losses. But
yeah, I remember there was like 8-0, and then there was a couple of losses, and that was kind of the last I'd seen. So they bounced back. Good deal.
But to start the season off undefeated, and then I think they lost like 3, maybe. I think they lost like 3 games after that. But I think they won the last one or something. Cool. Man, shout out to Auburn women's basketball team.
And talking about resources, Larry Vickers is at the bottom.
Not one.
Right. He doesn't have a resource. I can promise you. He doesn't have much to work with there. And Auburn right now is very, very concerned with getting football turned around. And that's where the majority of the resources are going. And obviously so. But look, shout out to Coach Vickers, man. And shout out to my guy Mike G. Shout out to my guy Ike Jones. If you want women's basketball coverage, nobody is covering Auburn basketball better than Ike Jones and Mike G. So y'all know that. Go over there and follow those guys today. And shout out to Coach Vickers, and shout out to the ladies. Slugged Up Durkin says women's basketball is doing their thing. Let's go.
Yes, they are.
I want to be no worries, brother. No, just come here, like the video, sub. It doesn't matter, brother. It doesn't matter at all. It is just an extra way to help us out. Totally understand, buddy, for sure. Let's see. NH3425 says to have a brand new team, basically they're doing the work. AU women's basketball team will regal. A lot of new coaches, man. A lot of new coaches. Women's basketball, men's basketball, head football coach. A lot of new coaches on the plains. I'm hoping that's not a conversation that we have to have for baseball anytime soon, because no, I got you. Hey, listen, I got you. I just naturally say it. I just naturally say man and bud and bro. It ain't nothing. It ain't nothing. It's just all right. So let's get into point number 3. Right. I think I got all my starred. I did want to get to Greg. What's up, Greg? Always in here supporting the show. Says Freeze was not the same guy he was at Ole Miss. He did not have the same confidence and swagger. He always just looked defeated. Maybe it was his health. Yeah, it definitely looks like it kind of wore on him. It definitely looked like it kind of wore on him for sure. It just looked like a guy that didn't have answers ultimately. The Golden Broom podcast says, he just was confused as to why this continued to happen, and we were too. The Golden Broom podcast says, what's up, my guys? Finally subbed. Alex Golesh is a home run hire for Auburn. If the fans will sit back and let him cook, he will let you get it right.
Shout out to Vandy Chris from the Golden Broom podcast, man. Vanderbilt's #1 fan. Shout out to him.
Hey, I thought the Commodores should have been in the playoffs. And I've said it once and I'll say it again. My worst prediction was at SEC Media Days was voting Vanderbilt like 15th in the SEC. I missed bad. Let's get to point number 3. But shout out, man. Thank you for subbing to the show. Point number 3. Scheme and play calling are relevant to today's game. Man, oh man. We have seen some stuff over these last decade or so as to where I watched Sammy Coates yesterday. He was on a podcast recently, and he said, I ran 3 routes at Auburn. I ran 3 routes the whole time. Post, go, and dig.
That's it.
And I said, yeah, that sounds about like the Gus Malzahn route tree. I think back to Auburn losing to LSU at home under Brian Harsin, and the LSU DBs, when they made the crucial play in the fourth quarter on Coy Moore, they said, Auburn ran that play 9 times before that.
Mm-hmm.
We knew exactly what was going to happen, and we were ready for it.
Yep.
And then I think that we all saw what happened over the last 3 years, and it just felt like and there's arguments that can be made here. You can say, well, some people are running the same scheme as Hugh Freeze, and they're being successful. And yeah, that's a thing, right? But the way that he was doing it and the way that he was implementing it and the way that his play calling structure was and everything that went involved in that, it just felt like to me, Nick, it was a little outdated. It felt like everyone was kind of sitting on Auburn's plays a lot of times. And ultimately, I'm not sure that if Hugh Freeze wants to move forward into coaching, I don't know if he's going to continue to do the things the exact way that he's done them without some tweaks fundamentally to the football side of it. If he can be successful. It appears to me like we know how football is, right? We know that people are constantly learning and trying to catch up. And I hate using this example because he's the GOAT and it's so extreme. But like you saw with Nick Saban to where they were constantly switching up philosophies on offense and doing different things as the game changed and always trying to stay relevant and stay ahead of things. Man, the numbers, like I'll read off some of them here in a second. They blow you away. I mean, they're obviously relevant to today because he just now did them. He just now had a quarterback that was one of only 13 quarterbacks in the history of college football to throw for 3,000 yards and run for 1,000 yards. Been a lot of quarterbacks play football in college football, Nick. Been a lot. Only 13 have done that, and one of those guys did it last year with Auburn's current head coach. And I'm not a betting man, but if I was going to put money on it, I'd say that same quarterback will be Auburn's starting quarterback next year when they kick the season off versus Baylor. So when you just kind of look at this scheme and I don't even know if like scheme is necessarily the right word, but just the offense in general, everything, play calling, scheme, his mindset, his mentality, his attacking culture. There's a lot. Just what he brings, everything that he brings schematically on the real football side of things. On the offensive side of the ball, I think that I don't know how you can look at the numbers and not be excited. And to kind of tie this back into point number 2, you want to look at him in all these incredible numbers and say, that's at South Florida. Now, he did it in the SEC a couple years ago. Yeah. So I think it's relevant to today's game. I don't think it's something that's outdated. And one other thing, Nick, he said in that opening press conference, he said, I'll switch it up. I'll mold a little bit to the talent if I have to. It's one thing to say that, but his resume actually lays that out. A multitude of different kind of archetypes at quarterback have been successful under Alex Golesh. I think this might be one of the most critical parts of all of it.
So I reference Joel Gordon a lot because he has been with Alex Golesh everywhere he's been except for when he was at Tennessee. So they are kind of like this when it comes to it. Joel Gordon did an interview and he talked about this as a matter of fact of, what Auburn's offense is going to be. And he talked about the non-negotiable what his offense is running the football. A lot of people look at this offense. When they see this offense, they be like, oh, they just throwing this ball around the yard. It's a wide choice offense. A lot of wide receiver choice routes in his offense and things, stuff like that. And all actuality, this is a run heavy first type offense. Now when they set it up and then when they align it up, it looks like that. Yeah. So basically what they're trying to do is they're trying to make the defense commit to whether you want to defend the run or whether you want to defend the pass. So they're trying to get the box as empty or as full as possible. And from there, they determine exactly how they want to play. Now, when you talk about schemes, I think the faster the game got, I think the more simpler offensive schemes have become. The faster you can play, the more simple it became.
Like when Gus and Chip Kelly kind of came in.
Exactly. That's exactly where I was getting ready to go. When you get to that part to where when teams were playing super fast, it became a lot more simpler. And to a degree, it works. Don't get it twisted. It works because what it does is it puts the defense on their heels. It gets the defense out of position, and you just create a natural advantage. You could say unnatural advantage for the offense because the offense knows what's coming, and the defense doesn't have time to set up and do what it needs to do. But there are things that you compensate with that. There are different things when it comes to protections, for a quarterback, being able to get an offense into a particular protection when, where am I hot from? Am I hot from my right? Am I hot from my left? Which side is the blitz coming from? There are a lot of things as well, too, of knowing the route tree for wide receivers for the majority of the time. Like, what is a 7 route? Like, do receivers know what that is? Do receivers know what a 5 route is? Well, if you're doing it from the number system, a lot of people still, some people use number system, some people use the word system as well.
When I played, it was numbers, and
the
wide receiver's number was the first part of the play call, and we're out the huddle while the play call still.
Yeah, and then the other thing about it too is like when you think about it, like the play call itself is different. Like I can give you a play right now, strong right. I can give you strong right 62. Strong right 62 X9 Z3 Y7 F whatever. You can do that. You don't know what that means. Like nobody knows what that means. But what I just told you was the strength of the defense, where I want the strength to be. The 62 is the slide protection of what I want the offense to do. And then I just told every single wide receiver what route I want to run. Now you have plays where you just say drag it. And everybody, you just say one play words, and that's what happens. Drag it, or you say speed, or test, or Obama, or Trump, or whatever it is. Whatever the word is, that's what people will say, and people know what to do. But it's or everybody's favorite play Spider 2 Y banana. Everybody people don't even know, people don't know what the banana part of that is. It's basically a tight end over it. Like it's a bunch of things like when people talk about that's compensated when you do play faster, because when you play faster, you have to get the plays in quicker and you want to play at a tempo and stuff like that. So when you talk about that, I don't know if it's outdated. I think it just compensates for a lot of things, because when it happens, there's only so much you can do in that type of offense. So defenses see that and they be like, oh, they line up like this. I know what's possibly coming. You know what I'm saying? And it's not really much that you can that defenses have to prepare for, unless it's not a lot of pro style offenses that's being ran in college football either. You don't have a lot of two running back sets or 2 tight end sets to where the tight ends are actually blocking. The inline tight ends blocking on the end of the line, and they actually blocking or coming out for. It's not a lot of that. It's a lot of spread and a lot of things, stuff like that. So when you look at this offense, what you're gonna see with Coach Golesh and Joel Gordon, it's gonna be it's gonna be wide. You're gonna see wide receivers outside the numbers, which is very unnatural to see, because what they're trying to do is they're trying to space out the DBs and basically everybody that's inside that box, those nickel backs, those outside linebackers, depending on what type of defenses run. They're trying to make them commit to being in the box. And if the numbers fit, then at that particular point in time, they'll run the football. If not, they'll throw the football. But they just really just trying to make it uncomfortable and trying to make the defense protect, and trying to make the defense basically guard every single blade of grass on the field is what they're trying to do. And it works. It does. It's worked everywhere he's been. But the thing about it is what a lot of people are going to see with these wide receiver routes is it's a lot of choice routes in this offense. A lot. There's going to be a lot of choice. And if the wide receiver and the quarterback are not on the same page, it could be a lot of interceptions. But but if they are on the same page, hey, it's gonna be fun to watch this offense rock and roll. But trust me, they are going to run the football, and it is going to be very, very good to see Auburn back to running the football and being run first with that, and being creative in the run game, not just inside zone. Having some trap in there, having some duo blocks, having some gap scheme concepts, looking at pin and pulls, which is the reason why when we talk about this, you're going to be looking at a very different type of lineman that Auburn's going to be recruiting. You're not going to see the big, 6'4", 6'5", 335 pound lineman Auburn's going to be recruiting. You're going to see guys that's 6'6", 310, 315 playing tackle.
You know, you may see a guard that's 6'4", 325 playing guard, you know, because they have to be that athletic enough to be able to, when you pin and pull, them guards and them tackles don't have to be able to get around that corner to be able to take out whatever's coming first when them pins happen. So you're going to have some guys that's athletic enough to get around the edge and do that. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. And I think when people see the guys that's playing, they're going to be like, oh my God, it is. But trust me, when you understand the scheme of what Auburn is trying to do on the offensive side of the ball, you're going to look at it and you're going to be like, hey, if it works, because it's worked everywhere he's been. And when it starts working, you're going to be excited. You're going to be excited.
Yeah, I'm with you. Now let's look at some of this here from a numbers standpoint. I think we could all agree that the tight end position went downhill under the last regime, and I don't even know how great it was before. But it's definitely a room that right now needs a boost. When Alex Golesh took over as tight ends coach and recruiting coordinator at Iowa State in 2016, Iowa State's tight ends the previous season had combined for 5 total receptions. 5.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Whoa, wait, say it one more time now. Wait, what?
The year before Alex Golesh was hired as the tight end coach at Iowa State,
okay,
the Cyclones tight ends had a combined 5 receptions.
Oh, that's horrible.
That's
good.
Bad. That's very, very bad.
That's not good at all.
It went up every single year. By 2019, their tight ends had caught 75 passes.
Oh.
He had all conference tight ends in all of his seasons at Iowa State. So in 2016, they have 5. That season, Golesh gets hired after. They have 5 total receptions from their tight end positions. In 2017, they had an all-conference tight end. In 2018, they had an all-conference tight end. In 2019, they had an all-conference tight end. And then again, they finish up 75 passes. So in his 3 years, they went from the season before having 5 total receptions as a tight end room to having 75 and having an all-conference member at that position every single season that he was there. So, they're right there. I have a direct numbers I can look at and say, okay, boy, like appears when you show up and you put your particular time into this gets better. Sophomore tight end Charlie Kolar set a record at Iowa State, catching 51 passes, 679 yards, and 7 touchdowns under Alex Golesh. So this is a position that they had the worst tight ends in Power 4 football, most likely. He shows up and within 3 years, he has completely turned around the position group that he is responsible for. You know, something else that is just a side point here, but as you kind of go through his resume, he's coached everything, Nick.
He did.
He's coached offensive positions, defensive positions. He's been recruiting coordinator. I think he's a short, I think that there's a high IQ. Like a high IQ guy to be able to go and coach a specific group on defense one year and then specific group on offense. And now I'm recruiting coordinator. Like this guy, he's worn a lot of hats. But let's look at, he did a solid job, a great job really at his offense at UCF. But let's look at his first year in the SEC. And we all will know what Tennessee was before. And again, like Josh Heupel is the head coach, so I give him the credit. I think Josh Heupel is one of the best head coaches in the game right now. But let's see. So when we look at it, he comes to 2021, shatters school records, 511 total points, 6,174 yards, 67 touchdowns. They had 316 first downs. They had 164 first downs off of running plays and only 3 interceptions thrown. Their QB rating that year, their passing efficiency, 167.10. Their year prior, from the year prior to Alex Golesh's first year as Tennessee's OC, overall offensive ranking, they improved 101 spots.
Oh, wow.
101 spots. Wow. They jumped overall scoring offense. They jumped 101 spots.
Was that?
And then
did they move into like the top 50 or top 30 with that?
Let's see. It says they were 108th in the country in 2020th. They went from 108th to 7th.
Oh man, the top 10. Okay, then.
In 1 year.
Okay.
So, and again, like I'm going to give Hyperless credit, but you got to look at the OC there too.
Yeah, you got to.
And give him his credit as well. They averaged 46.1 points a game. 46.1 points a game. And then that's in the SEC. That's not 2015. That's 2021. Yep. That's 2022. Like that's very 2022 is when they averaged 46.1 points a game the next year.
Yep.
So like they got even better. And then obviously he gets the South Florida job. And I can sit here all day and talk about the numbers that he did at South Florida. They're top 5 in everything offensively. Mention, what Brown, his previous quarterback, being one of only 13 quarterbacks to do that. You can really get on there if you want to and do a deep dive into his numbers at USF. But man, like they're all really big. They're really big. They're all top 10, top 5 type numbers. There's not really an offensive category that you can look at since he's been at USF that hasn't improved drastically. And not only hasn't improved drastically, but also is like tops in the nation. So, which leads me to my 4th point and a conversation that you have had a ton about, Nick, culture rebuild.
Yes.
And this word culture, if you're out there listening to the Uptempo podcast and you're taking a shot every time the word culture is said, you've been pissed drunk over the last
That's
month.
what I'm saying.
I've been saying it a lot. But look, everyone knows it's got to change. That part, we beat that horse dead. We actually dug it up, beat it some more, and then buried it again.
Yep.
So that part we all understand. USF was 4-29, guys, like Nick said earlier. 4-29. 4-29 in the previous 3 years before Alex Golesh. If that's the definition of a losing culture.
Yes, it is.
We're close. You're so far away from winning football games at 4-29, man. So, and also, think about what Tennessee was
before. Yeah.
So, again, the credit to Heupel, but OC played a big part in that. We just read off some of the stats that played a big part of that.
Yep.
But also, do you think that Tennessee has that level of success, that turnaround happened to the degree that it had? Is it realistic to say Alex Golesh, football scheme, all that? Sure. But some of this other stuff we talked about, mindset and all that, how much did all of that, as the OC, you play a massive part of the program. I think all of those things as well probably helped that Tennessee culture. I don't know a whole lot about what was going on the offensive side of the ball at Tennessee pre-Alex Golesh, but I'd be willing to bet some of this stuff we talked about in the first part of this episode that was been going on at Auburn was probably going on at Tennessee. Lack of accountability, this, that, and the other, right? Because you don't lose games if that stuff's not happening. That's how you get to where Tennessee was.
Yep.
It would be ridiculous and short-sighted to not say that Alex Golesh at least had some part in that. So now you have an example of him having at least some part in it at an SEC program, and then he went down to South Florida. And I'll just tell y'all something, as somebody who's a Tampa sports fan, like you might have 5,000 people at a South Florida game, or you could get 45 to 50,000 people at a South Florida game. It depends on what you do. It depends on what you do. Okay. Right now, the Tampa Bay Lightning, they are tops in the NHL in like sellouts and percentage of like selling out their arena and stuff, right? They've also made the playoffs 12 of the last 13 years and have won multiple championships.
Hey, that's what
let them become one of the worst hockey teams in the league. There's other stuff to do in Tampa. People will go do something else. The Rays are a good example in the same city.
Yes.
Okay. Nobody goes to Rays games, so there's a part of that about a bridge in St. Pete. But the point I'm making here is that's a place, man. Like what he did there, you got to get buy-in.
Yes.
You have to get buy-in. That's really at any like G5 type thing. But he got buy-in. He looked around and said, 429, I don't have any time for excuses. Look, we're resetting everything. And do you know what he did? Like, there's one thing too, is all this stuff going on now. I'm not saying that there was when USF went 429 that they were overpaying the guys that were on their roster for NIL. That wasn't happening. That my understanding of the situation wasn't a whole lot of NIL going on in South Florida. He did the organization behind the scenes to kind of get that in order and start getting some guys that otherwise wouldn't have went to South Florida. So there's a lot that goes into culture rebuild. But one thing he did was he showed up and he got some stuff together on the NIL front at that university. He said, you know what? This is actually a great place to come play. If you're a group of 5 talent, if you're a 3-star guy that maybe some SEC schools are looking at, but you know, it's maybe not, you might not be able to get on the playing field, or maybe the money's not quite there. Or if you're just a guy that like, you're a 3-star that every group of 5 kind of team wants, you're like a high, you know, like on that level, you're battling the Tulanes and the ECUs and the Memphises and the Boise States. If you're that kind of recruit, he came in and said, you know what, we actually have some resources here that we can use. This is actually a beautiful like city that you would want to come live in and go to college in. He used all of those things to his advantage. And quickly got in talented guys. And brought in guys that otherwise wouldn't have gone to South Florida. So that's the first part of the culture, is just getting in guys that weren't going to go there. But the main point I want to make here, and I tie all that into the NIL thing. We've already kind of had that discussion on this episode, so I don't want to like go back down that. But I'm just saying, when you look at what's going on right now with the restructuring of the NIL situation at Auburn, a little bit different in terms of the details of how it went down at his previous stop, because he basically kind of had to put it together at his previous stop. But this is not Jimbo Fisher coming into Texas A&M and saying, we got all this money, hell, throw it at him, cool, because he was an old head when the system changed. No, he's in tune with it. This is a young guy that's in tune with this new era and what it takes. So that's why when I look at some of this NIL stuff at Auburn, I'm saying, you know what? To Ant's point in the chat earlier, again, he watched the tape of Malcolm Simmons. He said that's a great football player. But from a culture standpoint and an allocation of funds, these are very deep conversations that can go multiple different ways, but culture plays a part in that. What do you think the culture is if all of a sudden you've got 40 guys that are overpaid? It might be a little fat and high on the hog, bro. They might not have that dog. They might not want to go work. And at the end of the day, I don't have to know anything that went on at a 4-29 team. You tell me you went 4-29 in 3 years, I can tell you the whole thing was broke. The whole thing was crushed. To go from that to 3 straight bowl appearances, finishes off 9-3. You know, if he would have stayed, well, they've won 10 games. There's tangible evidence to show you that he went into a situation that was bad. And when you go into a team that went 4-29 over the previous 3 years, there wasn't one problem. There wasn't 2 problems. There wasn't 10 problems. There's a bunch of problems, a bunch of fires this man had to put out and reset the whole culture. And he did it at a place that's got some nice resources for a G5 level, but didn't really know how to use them. And he told them, hey, this is how we can use them. But even then, they were limited because it's still G5. Now, all of a sudden, he's at a place where he's got all of it. He's got all of it. So the way I'm going to finish this off today is, again, do I know if Alex Golesh is going to win football games at Auburn? I don't know that. I'm not making predictions that he will. But I'm laying out here today. We got to look at this and say he's earned a shot. These are all the reasons why he's earned the shot. And if he can come into a program like that, that's 4-29, that's dead in the water, that had a community that was checked out, that wasn't going to the games, that didn't give a damn. He got the community back invested. And then all that stuff's important, man. That shows me fundraising ability. There's like all that stuff goes into being a head coach. He rebuilt the whole culture over there. Look what they just went and hired, man. They just
Brian
got Hartline.
Yeah, Brian Hartline.
Look, great hire for them. Their AD, Rob Higgins, like good job for him.
Yep.
Credit to South Florida, and they're like great job for them. Okay, great. But I'm here to say that doesn't happen.
Yes.
If Alex Golesh doesn't pick that job up out the dirt and show Brian Hartline what that job could be. He rebuilt the culture there. So now the question is can he do it in the SEC? I'm laying out all the reasons today as to why we should be optimistic that he can, Nick.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, there's nothing I have to say after that. I mean, because you said it all, but I will say this, and I'm going to reiterate this. Everywhere Alex Golesh has been, he has had to build it. And every time he's built it, he's left it better than what it was. He's always left it better than what he was. And the part that you said about having the community buy-in, he doesn't listen. we sitting here talking about Auburn, and Auburn has been a 5-17 for the past 2 seasons, and 6-7 and 2 years ago. Auburn is already bought into Auburn football. Right. So
162 people watching live right now. Yeah,
he doesn't have to worry about that. Auburn fans, Auburn is going to be behind Auburn, so he doesn't have to worry about that. We're gonna be here for that. The thing is, man, people just want to see him do what he did at other spots. Just bring that here to Auburn. Don't forget how to coach when you put on the when you put it on. Don't forget what you did at those other spots. Just bring all of that here. You know, it is what it is. But no, I mean, yeah. What I get from this, what I get from him, from the mindset, culture rebuild, everything about Coach Alex Golesh is everywhere he's been, he's had to start with almost nothing or nothing, and then bring it to a point to where it was successful. Like not just to the point to where it was getting by, but successful. And I don't expect him to do anything less come January, when the portal opens, and then especially when games start playing in September, first weekend of September, when you gotta go play Baylor. I don't expect anything less from him. I'm expecting him to come in and have the same mindset, have the same attack, have the same focus, and want to be great. I don't think he's one of those people that now that he's got one of the premier jobs in college football at the 13th winningest program in college football. I will keep saying that. I don't think he's one of those people that's going to be like, hey, I've made it. Now I get to chill. And I don't think he's one of those people that's just like, if I win one championship here, I think I'm good. I think he wants to win multiple championships. I think he wants to be considered one of the greatest to ever do it. And when you have people like that who just have an insatiable appetite to just be the best at what they do, you get Alabama from 2007 to 2023. That's what you get.
And tied into something that you've talked a lot about on previous live shows, where you said one of your favorite things about him is this process oriented thoughts, right? Like this is how we're going to do it. Well, that ties in to the points you just made. Most of those people, they have a process.
That's it.
And they're obsessive about it. They're absolutely obsessive about it. They will continue to pound that process, going after it. It's why you see these ultra competitive. It's why 3 Super Bowls wasn't enough for Tom Brady.
Yep.
It's why 6 Super Bowls wasn't enough for Tom Brady. Oh, I'm gonna go down here and get me a 7th one. You want to see?
Yep.
Like that kind of mindset. And a lot of those guys, I think most of them are process oriented based. So it all kind of ties together.
But what I will say about that, when you do that, you there are some things that you have to give up in order for that to happen. You know, it's some things that you just literally have to just be like, in order to be great. And it's like, I'm just be real. There's like, I haven't done anything in my life to be able to say that I have attained that level of greatness. Hopefully soon that will happen. But when you listen to like guys talk about, especially in the sports, in the sports arena, because there are results that you can actually look at and just be like, oh man, this dude won 6 championships and 3 of them were 3 3-peats.
This dude won 7 Super Bowls. And you got another guy in the NFL right now who has been to the Super Bowl every year he's been in the NFL. Damn, they almost look like, and trying to get on that track. Like, there are literally there are metrics that you can look at and just be like, man, what are you sacrificing in order to be that great? And but that's a whole nother conversation about like that. But I'm just saying that there are certain things you have to sacrifice when that happens in order to be that great, to be remembered like that. Man, yeah, they gotta be that has to be like, I'll know soon. I know. Man, that's not that sounded very never mind. Just go ahead.
You good, buddy. You good. I mean, listen, I think everybody knows that if you want to be successful, you have to work. You have to work really, really hard. And I think that Alex Golesh is there. I think that's probably the most confusing part that I'll never understand about the previous situation that Auburn had was I thought that Auburn was getting a guy that wanted to have some redemption in him, that wanted to prove something, and it didn't feel that way.
Nope,
it didn't, and that confused me because Auburn gave Bruce Pearl a second chance, and Bruce Pearl said, "I'm going to reward you," and he showed, like he put it out there. And then in Auburn's previous football coach, I thought you were going to get some of that. Like, you left the SEC super embarrassed. I thought you were going to come in and try to kind of rectify that and silence some of the haters, and there never seemed to be that fire to do that. So that was really the most confusing part to me. Let's get to some of these comments, and then we're going to get out of here. Please, man, got a good crowd in here. Like the video, sub to the channel. We've been going for an hour and a half, so it is getting time to wrap this thing up. Tomorrow will be some member pods, and then the next public episode will come out Tuesday. So be on the lookout for that. I'm aiming for we'll say 10 a.m. Tuesday morning. Big Trav says, do you guys think Byron Brown signs day 1 portal opening? It will help build momentum and help Auburn close a top 10 portal class, and also help with player retention. I don't. As of now, I'm not comfortable saying an exact day, but I just believe he'll be coming to Auburn. You got any more thoughts on that in terms of the day?
I think I'm not gonna say day 1, but I'll probably say the portal open January 2nd. That's a Friday. I would probably say over that weekend, maybe by Tuesday, you hear news of him.
If it's a Friday, then if the 2nd's a Friday, you might not make it to the 5th.
If it's a Friday, because the 5th would be that Monday. So you'll probably hear some noise over the weekend about. We literally could be sitting here doing this right. Brown is the new quarterback at announcing his intentions to sign at Auburn. I mean, I
hope so.
That would be newsworthy to talk about. But no, I mean, I think it's inevitable. I think it's just literally inevitable for him to end up here. When it happens, maybe a little bit more not that important, but I just think people just know that it's gonna happen.
Gotcha. Yeah. Talking about let's see. I hear this talking about, it says I think the cancer diagnosis played a major part, partially, but that Georgia comment that I was talking about earlier was made before that. And also the comments in the bowl game were before that, where he said I wasn't prepping for the bowl game, I was recruiting. To me, that showed like a little bit of a lack of dog mentality as well. We got a game that's going on record, and we're 6-6. So do you want to have a winning season or a losing season on your record? So I hear you, but to me, I think he showed up, just not the same guy. I think the pro style should come back, says Sharp.
I agree wholeheartedly. If not the pro style, let's run some West Coast offense around this thing or something.
Some Bill Walsh.
Something. Come on, man.
Hey, look, I'll tell you what. Phillip Rivers got up off the couch and showed and showed a whole generation's of QB.
He did.
How this thing can be done.
Even though it looked like it hurt him to throw the football a little bit.
It did. But hey, that mind's still strong now. He was still setting people up and reading defenses, and it just a master, really a master at the line of scrimmage. And that's an art. And to think about that, he was like never one of the he was one of the best, but he was not in that Brady, Manning, that whole kind of thing. But
he didn't win enough Super Bowl. He didn't win a Super Bowl. That's all it is.
Yeah, and it was tough. tough AFC with Peyton and Tom in there. But the point being is,
would you put him in the category with Jim Kelly?
Yeah, I think they're the same tier.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
okay,
for sure. Now, I mean, the thing with Kelly is, it's like it's a team sport. But my goodness, to go to 4,
not win one.
Was Kelly part of all 4?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a tough look.
Who was on it? Was Thurman Thomas the running back on that team?
Yeah,
I think Thurman Thomas was the running back.
He was on some of them. I don't know if he was on all 4, but he was definitely on a couple of them.
And that probably had to be one of the best teams that never win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Scott Norwood and the field goal and all that. It's a tough deal. No Meter Martin says Brown is great. Deuce is going to take this offense to a different level. Yeah, y'all know what I want. I said a week ago, if it was up to me, Deuce QB2 next year, Brown 1 to bridge. I think it's possible. I don't know if Deuce agrees. We'll find out soon enough. But yeah, that would be the perfect scenario in my opinion. We thought it would be Durkin after the Iron Bowl. We woke up and fell ass backwards into a good coach. I hope you're right. I hope you're right. And like that's the thing. Auburn's goofy, man. Like the only way you can describe Auburn is goofy. So if Auburn goofed into a good scenario after like maybe messing up the some raw, and then maybe Auburn goofed their way into a good one. I don't know.
It's to me, it's just I know I don't want to keep comparing it, but there are just too many parallels to what happened with Alabama in 2006 with what I'm looking at right now. Like how they wanted Rich Rodriguez to be the head coach. He accepted the job, then didn't accept the job. And then they fell into then Nick Saban fell into their lap, and then they went on this generational run. Like the same thing happened with Auburn. All we heard was John Summerall is gonna be the guy. Next thing you know, John Summerall's not the guy.
Then me and you load into a live show and we're like, all right, DJ Durkin, I guess.
Yeah, then next thing you know, it was Golesh. Like
20 minutes later,
did we just fall into our just generational run?
Hope so. That'd be great. It'd be a very Auburn thing, but it also should be a college football thing, man. Like the sport's just weird. It's just weird like that. Like you talk about the Rich Rodriguez, he was killing it at West. He was killing it. So Bama looking at him made perfect sense. He was killing it. Lindsay, I was excited that Sunday morning Golesh was named. Me and Nick were too. Mid live, we were like, say what? Slugged Up Durkin was a fantastic username, fantastic profile.
Shout out to Get
picture,
Musty.
brother. Look at this. Let's look at the picture there. USF fans are livid. They're extra salty. And you see some of this from Tulane. I get it. With Summerall, you're a fan. You love your team. I have been a little confused at some of the USF and Tulane fan reaction in terms of not understanding what level they're on. Like that. So I mean, I don't. I don't really know what else to say. It's just like, what do you think it is? Like, what do you think you are? I don't even know how to begin to explain. But I've also learned over the past week that people literally think that James Madison plays the same strength of schedule as a Big Ten or an SEC team. And I didn't know there were human beings that walk the earth that thought that until about a week ago. So I'm learning. Big Trav says, "Oh, we looking hard." I mean, kinda. I'm just saying, hey, if it all, like Lil Wayne said, I think it was a Carter 5. Let's let it all work out. Maybe. I hope. But I mean, I'll again
moving silence like lasagna.
Yeah. And listen, maybe not. Maybe everything we talked about today is all crap.
Maybe.
And there's a bunch of reasons why. Like if there's anybody out there that's like, this is the most sunshine ass episode I've ever heard, hear me say this. Maybe it doesn't work.
Maybe.
I don't even think we've given a prediction.
No, we have. I have it.
Yeah, we're just laying out reasons as to why it could be. So, and these are the numbers and these are the reasons. I'm just looking at previous resume. And laying out why it could be. What is funny though, and I'm not talking about you in particular, Big Trav. There's actually a guy that'll never ever comments in the live, and I know why because he knows I'll pop his ass on the live. So he leaves his little slick comments after the video. He accused me of being a hot take blowhard a month ago, and he was doing it on other podcasts. He wasn't even doing it here. He was going on other shows and commenting underneath about how I was a clickbait artist. He said what I wanted to do was I wanted to pretend like I was the most outraged person in the Auburn media space for clicks. That was AUTK. I'll just go ahead and say your username.
Okay.
Yeah. He accused me of that, and then it's funny because it's like, is that what I was doing, or was I just sick of Hugh Freeze? And then what has the content been since Hugh Freeze has been fired? Please point to my fake negativity for clicks since Hugh Freeze has been fired. There hasn't been any. It's only been like optimism in what could be. You know why that is, brother? Because I keep it real.
Mm-hmm.
And if I look at a pile of dog shit, I'm gonna point to it and say, "Don't step in that." That's just that simple. It's not fake outrage. And until Alex Golesh gives us a reason, man, I like to hire. But I'm not. But again, I'm not going to come on here and predict big things. It's just, man, when we break it down, like there's a lot of things to look at as to why this could be successful. If you want to play devil's advocate, it's an obvious. We've seen this before. You've seen coaches be super successful at lower levels before, have all of this same kind of stuff we talked about today, great resumes, and then they get the big job and it doesn't translate.
Yep.
So like that's devil's advocate. And I'm fully acknowledging, and Nick will fully acknowledge as well, I'm sure, that's a possibility. So, but Slugged Up also says, hearing all this is hard not to bug. Yeah. Exactly. There's a lot of reasons. That's the point of today's episode. There's a lot of reasons to bug. There's a lot of reasons to be optimistic, man. The more and more we dig into this hire, I really, really like it. Yep. And there are reasons to be optimistic. We haven't had good production from tight end since Uzma was at Auburn. It's probably been that long.
Who was first, him or Sal Cannella?
Sal was after. And thank you for mentioning. Shout out to Sal Cannella, bro. Sal Cannella is making his first NFL start today for the Cleveland Browns.
Okay, there we go.
6 years of spring leagues, USFL, blah, 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 all them different leagues. My man is grinded. He's been on some practice squads. He's been in some preseason games. He's been activated to the active roster today for the Browns and will make his NFL debut 6 years after his last game in college. Staying on that grind, Sal Cannella. We see you, big dog.
Let's go, Shadur.
Go
throw the ball to him, Shadur.
Oh, yeah. Throw it. Shadur. Throw it to Sal.
Throw the ball to Shadur. Shadur, throw the ball to Sal Cannella.
Feed him. The people need it. Golesh will have Auburn a good team again. Give him a year. Give him until year 2 or 3 before you judge. It's time to build a culture and a roster made in your image. Signed a Bama fan. Let's go.
Shout out to Jermaine
Let's
Mims.
go. Well, thank you, buddy. Thank you for being in here and being a reasonable Bama fan and showing a little bit of love. And yeah, man. So we appreciate you tuning in and watching the show. And I hope you're right. And I think that you are. Like I'm not going to place bets on it or nothing and guarantee anything, but I have a lot of reasons to be optimistic for sure. Thank you for the comment, buddy.
Yes.
Auburn Thaw says, I just want Alex to follow the Tubbs model of coming to Auburn and succeeding. Yeah, I mean, I've as I've said on here a million times, my formidable years as an Auburn fan are the Tommy Tuberville years, and I think that's even in today's structure. I think that's a realistic thing for Auburn. I think you can go 9. There can be years of 9-3. There can be years of 8-4. There can be some 13-0 type seasons in there. Like I think that's kind of a realistic thing that Auburn can attain. I think Alex Golesh can get Auburn back to definitely where Tubbs had him, and I don't think it's that hard to do if you're a good coach. And if Bama wants to fall off the face of the earth again, then 6 in a row would be fantastic to come along with that. I don't see that happening, but boy, that would be fun. The Dollar General would be lit. And says, a Bama booster told me that this could be the Saban hire in 2007. The SEC is really – I knew I'd get Nick with that one. The SEC is really scared of this hire. I hope so, buddy. I hope they're – I mean, we had a Bama fan just comment and say he thought it was going to be a good hire. He didn't say he was scared. But you got a Bama booster telling you that they're a little
man.
Yeah. I mean, I hope so, buddy.
No.
I don't think when Alex Golesh gets asked, hey, AG, it's your first week ever coaching in the Iron Bowl. What do you think about the hatred that goes into this rivalry? I don't think he's gonna like pop off some long proverb about being good to your fellow man. He'll probably say, I want to go beat him on the football field, because we all understood that that's actually what we're talking about here. Terry says, how much was J.A. getting paid? 21 Savage and J. Cole would say a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
A lot,
brother.
Like,
too much.
Like mid to upper 7 figures a lot.
Yeah. Lindsay says, sunshine or not, numbers don't lie. Hey,
exactly.
We just read numbers. We just read numbers. That's all we're doing. Just read numbers from previous years. We'll finish out with my guy Auburn Thaw. He says, they called me a hater because I saw the writing on the wall early. Rose-colored fans can't stand real opinions. And then it's so funny because then they circle back. They circle back whenever they finally get fed up.
Mm-hmm.
And they comment the exact same thing they got mad at you for saying 3 months ago.
Exactly.
It's like
exactly.
Yeah.
And you can and you cannot say Auburn Thaw wasn't this, because his name was Fire Freeze the whole time. I'm just saying,
bro.
Like
he saw it from the jump. I'm just saying, he saw it from the jump.
It was like year 1.
Yes,
in my chat, Fire Freeze. I was like, damn. I'm not happy, but damn.
Yeah,
but hey, yeah, you were. You saw it, brother. You were. I can honestly say, and everyone in our member group chat can tell you, bro, like that. Me, when I walked out of that New Mexico State game, I'm like, hey, I think we might be cooked. It's year 1. It's year 1, man. Yeah.
No, we got beat.
Yeah, 31-10, bro. That ain't year 1. That's a little bit different. So listen, man, awesome episode. Almost 2 hours long. Nick, thank you like every Sunday morning for giving me your time, brother. I know that time is valuable, time is money. Thank you so much, Nick, for continuing to show up every Sunday, but and do this with us. Tell everybody what awesome content is going on this week over at the Water Cooler Talk podcast. Y'all have some deep conversations over there lately, some intelligent conversations that require a little bit of thinking.
Yeah, Water Cooler Talk Sport, man, on YouTube, man. We appreciate y'all so much. First off, let me say this, because I want to say thank you to everyone that has watched, commented, and subscribed. I don't do this, but I'm gonna do this time because I think it's necessary. My birthday weekend was November 14th was my birthday. That's my birthday weekend. From my birthday weekend up until now has been the biggest growth of Water Cooler Talk in the history and the history ain't that long, because we literally just started taking this serious in the 2024 season, to be honest with you. And I just want to say thank you to everybody that has come over and watched, that has subscribed, that has commented, that watch the videos we put out every morning at 7 a.m. and come watch the lives. We just hit 1,100 subscribers. So shout out to you all, because we can't do it without y'all. Shout out to Auburn Addicts. I got DC. Shout out to Tez. Shout out to my guy Marcus. Shout out to all of them. Shout out to Tez in here. Shout out to Tez. Tez got some big things coming as well on his channel. So make sure y'all go subscribe to SEC Season as well, and subscribe to Auburn Addicts. Man, but shout out to everybody that has come on the show. Dustin has come over on the show. Ike has come over on the show. Shout out to everybody that's come over on the show and just chop it up with us around the water cooler, because we just try to have a good time and just try to have really good conversations about SEC football, Auburn football, and college football as a whole. So I want to thank y'all for that. So if you would please help us continue to grow, because we're trying to take this thing to the next level. So please hit the subscribe button, like, share, comment, and just keep tuning in with us, because I'm telling you, man, we just gonna keep going this way, and we can only do it with you all and with our eyeballs, with you all watching, with you all commenting and liking, man. We appreciate it, man. Shout out to all y'all. Auburn Thaw, shout out to Ant, Shout out to Edward. Shout out to Mr. 21, Ed Darby. Shout out to Susan for always reposting. Shout out to Connie. Shout out to Connie. Shout out to C Hall. Shout out to Tim, the Tool Main Taylor. Shout out to the Huggy Beard, man. Shout out to all the day ones that come over there and just rock with us on the show, man. Mike McKinney. Shout out James Barnett, man. When you start naming names, you start missing people, but but everybody know who they are, man. And we appreciate all y'all so much, man, for rocking with us, man, and continuing to rock with us. Appreciate y'all, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good stuff. Appreciate that, Nick. And we're gonna be back. We'll be back Tuesday morning with another public episode. Like I said, for my members, I got 2. We'll do a film breakdown, and then I got a little bit of something I want to talk about. So we'll have those 2 different things posted for you guys tomorrow. So y'all know the deal, man. Like the video, sub to the channel. Do the same thing over there at Water Cooler Talk. If you are listening on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get any of your audios, leave a 5-star review. Turn on your automatic downloads over there. Again, Tuesday morning we will be back with the next episode, unless something big breaks and we have to come on here and talk about it. I will be right back here to do that with you guys as well. Love you all. Appreciate y'all. Safe travels if you are heading back, to your back home from Christmas and all that. And I hope that everybody's 2026 is going to be blessed and the best year you guys have had yet. Like button, sub to the channel. Warrior Amigo. We'll see y'all next week with this live show. Peace.
Yes.